Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amna Razi, and I'm the Vice President of Student Leadership Council. We're having questions written down right now, and when you have it done, can you just hold it up, and then Ronald will come collect it. So candidates, you will each get 3 minutes for your introduction, 1 minute for each question, and then you'll get 3 minutes for the closing statement at the end. And then Hadia Hira, that girl right there, she will be holding up signs when you have 1 minute for the opening statement and closing statement, and then 30 seconds and 10 seconds left. All right. And
I'm Ajwad Rajput. I am a voter rep for the Student Leadership Council. So we're going to first start off with introductions, and they're going to be for the presidential candidates. And Alex, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex de Guzman, and I'm running for Student Leadership Council President candidate. And I would like to thank the students, the faculty, the camera crew, and SLC for making this election forum for us candidates, and as well as working hard to create questions for us. So, as someone who's running for Student Leadership Council President, I put my student priorities first before being a student leader. And to me, college is where beginning of a new life start for every single student who goes to college. And it's where you want to explore your life and where you want to gain from going to college. But as a student leader, college is where you want to build communication skills, to build your professionalism, and to engage in student activities, and to help the community that benefits you. And with that said, I have joined in many clubs and programs here at COD and conferences and organizations that will help build my leadership skills as I keep growing as a person. So using my knowledge and experiences, I want Student Leadership Council to be an efficient organization, to make the student voices heard. As someone who has worked in Student Leadership Council, I want to make sure the future for this organization is as good or better. That's all my introduction for now, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Najmin Isa, and I'm running for President for Student Leadership Council. And one of my main goals for this position is to create more involvement with students, simply because I believe that if students are more involved, we can really understand what they want. Because a lot of students are just come to COD and leave, and you don't really know what they want. So if they're more involved, they can really voice what they want, and they can be heard. And I'd really like to be a part of that. Working together with all the students to create something that everyone is enjoying. And just COD is a great place, but I think we can make it a lot better. And that's kind of what my goal is. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julia Blaskowska, and I'm running for Student Trustee. So my main goal as Student Trustee is just to use my interpersonal and leadership skills in order to communicate ideas through the board. And I heard about this position through my friend Najmin, actually. And once she told me that it was about just working with the student body, it really motivated me to join, because I love working with people to work out strategies and work out solutions. So it was, I had a pretty rough time transitioning after coming here. After high school, I was super involved in high school, and once I came here, I kind of had a rough time getting myself involved. So I think that's one of the things that motivates me, is to help other students like that. Thank you.
My name is Smiha Syed. I'm running for the position of Student Trustee for the Student Leadership Council for next year. My main goal would be to unify the student body. So just looking at last year's election results, I realized that only 200, 300 students vote. That's a problem. So my main goal would be to get the SLC on that platform where all students can actually not just know about them, because even when I was going around petitioning and getting 60 signatures, people didn't know what the SLC was. And we are, the SLC should be the heart of the college. We are representing the student body. We are of and by the students. So I'd like to have events that are for and by all students, not just the Living Leadership Council, not just for a smaller group. So aside from that, I have extensive leadership experience. I feel that I've gained insight with regard to the student condition over this past year. I've served as the coordinator of the campus-wide blood drive and the medicine drive, the health screenings on campus, providing reduced healthcare costs to uninsured patients, as well as I've also communicated with the clubs on campus. Like my other goal would be to increase student involvement. And I've realized that just if you look at the clubs, like we don't have that many members involved in the clubs. So I'd like for students to be involved. And how would we do that? Perhaps we can get like a booth at NSO and have like clubs it's sort of like a student life fair, what I have in mind. But again, like we'd have to figure out what to do with that. But it's just an idea. And for now, yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much.
All right, so for our first question, we can start off with Alex again. How has your time at COD positively impacted your life?
My time at COD first started out as someone who doesn't know what he's exactly doing in his life. As someone who just graduated high school, many decisions come through with talking to a lot of students and faculty, asking a lot of advice and talking to them and saying, what do I need to start to figure out if I'm going to be here in COD? So New Student Orientation first helped start that, and with that, it helped me to become what I am today.
For me personally, I feel like, well, I've been to COD multiple times because I have a sister who attended COD, so I feel like I gained a familiarity with it simply, so it was quite an easy transition for me. And I really liked that there was a lot of help with choosing classes and just talking with counselors about my major, and then them guiding me of what to do, and also looking ahead with where I'm going to transfer and stuff like that. And I thought that really helped out for me, and it gave me confidence to just proceed in a way where I know where I'm going. So that really helped me, and it makes me confident just moving forward.
I was actually pretty excited to come to COD after high school because I also didn't really know what I was doing or what I wanted to do. So I think coming here has given me time to just figure out what I want to do, and I've gotten a lot of help from the counselors and a lot of staff here to kind of lead me in the right direction, so it's helped a lot.
To me, COD means endless opportunity. Everywhere you go, no matter whether it's a class, whether it's extracurriculars, you have people that are waiting to guide you, to be your friends, to just make you a part of COD. I feel like when you meet new people, not only does that teach you life lessons, but that also teaches you what it means to be a student at this school, in the context of the college. So I believe that the students are what make COD COD. So that's my experience, and I really like this school, which means I really like the students here, and I know the students. I've been here for 2 years. So I can say with confidence that I love this school, and I really would like to serve this community, and it would be my honor, and it would be a pleasure to do so. Thank you.
Anyone can jump in for this next one. What is one accomplishment that you're very proud of, or what is your most memorable moment?
Well, I'm the coordinator of the campus-wide blood drive, and it's going to take place on the 25th of this month. Each donation saves 3 lives. So because of this event, I feel like I have the confidence to say again that I am an advocate for life. I value human life, and it matters a lot to me. I've put in more than 200 hours into this project, 5 hours a day for weeks and weeks. I've been planning this event since fall, and not just the logistics, but just even the how to educate the student body about this cause. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
So for me personally, coming to COD, I started volunteering, for example, at the fuel pantry or the 5K marathon we had here. And I thought that was a really good experience, and I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty proud of it because I worked with a lot of students and staff, and it gave me quite an insight on the school even more, and just talking to everyone, helping out, and it's really rewarding. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm pretty proud of that.
My senior year of high school, I was a student teacher for a 4th grade classroom. So whether it was one-on-one working with students or full class instructions, I like to think that I had, hopefully a little impact on if at least one student. And that's what really inspired my passion for working with others, whether they're fourth graders or peers or adults in the Board of Trustees, just helping other people learn, grow, communicating ideas. So I was just really proud that I got to work with them and help out.
My greatest achievement is helping Student Leadership Council with the Hunger Banquet, which is we're all like kids and people who don't have access to food all over the world. As someone who came from a third world country, I felt that this project was meant to me because as someone who came here in the United States and learning what is to be like an American citizen, it gives me an opportunity to express myself in the Hunger Banquet, to share my experiences, and to talk about that it's important that everyone should have like food and 3 courses of meal a day, and as well as in college student too, because we don't have as much of food access here.
All right. So can you tell us about one of your strengths and how would you use it in the position you're running for? And anyone can start.
Well, for my strengths, I would like to touch base on my organization skills, where in like a team or a organization or club, to be organized and help to be the pillar of like a team, you really need to be touching base on how each team member works upon the project or anything that involves with the community or by your student clubs. And with that being the pillar to organize everyone is the driving force to be successful, to have a great opportunity to be in a club or organization. And with that, success comes in team building and organization.
One of my strengths, I think, is I'm quite detailed. So I think being a leader it's quite important to be detailed, so that carrying out whatever ideas you guys have, or just working on any project you're working on, it's really important to be detailed so that you are completing it to the fullest. And also another strength of mine, I think, is like open-mindedness. And I think that's a very important one, simply because if you're working with other people, you need to be able to listen to everyone and take everyone's ideas into consideration and implement and create something that's a whole as a group. And I think so, yeah, that's something really important to work on together.
My biggest strength would probably be working and communicating with other people, as well as strong leadership skills. So not only did I develop that through doing the student teaching and having to work with younger children and my supervising teacher, but I also was my high school soccer team captain. So I just learned to not be a leader per se, but to work with others and understand their needs and not just your own. So
I believe my strengths are strategizing, taking initiative, and communication. So whenever I'm planning on an event or working on an event, my first step would be to gather input, gather intel. So we do this every day as students. We are the students. We are in these conversations. We hear what the students need. So I feel that every event, every program should be strongly based in a student need. So we should directly translate student needs to student events and student programs. So that would be one of my strengths. My other strength I had mentioned is taking initiative. So I get things done. I get things done. So aside from that, I had also mentioned communication. So again, like we are the students, we talk to students every day, and just the conversations that take place every day, from that we are able to learn what the students need. And aside from that, like one of my goals for next year would be to like get SLC on that platform where we are able to communicate as much as possible and have events solely for that purpose. Thank you.
Next question. Can you tell us about your weaknesses and how you plan to improve these during the year?
Okay.
No, you don't.
I am very susceptible to suggestion, in the sense that whatever anyone is saying, I take that into like consideration like a lot. So, and I think sometimes I just need to focus on what is like at hand, what is the test, and just, you know, kind of focus on that. And sometimes also learn to say like no to some things, because I am very like, want to make everyone happy, and sometimes you can't make everyone happy, you know, and that's something I really would like to work on, and, you know, just work together with everyone, but still, you know, be able to make decisions that are, you know, best for everyone.
I would say that one of my weaknesses is organization. Not to say that I'm irresponsible or not dedicated, but definitely sometimes my mind is just at 500 places at the same time. So that's actually something that I'm trying to work on and grow as a person, and I think that's what COD is all about. You come here to grow as a person and as a student, so yeah.
I would say one of my weaknesses is being very detail-oriented, and that because of that, I end up taking a lot of time to do the tasks that I am assigned to do or that I would have to do. I get very overwhelmed, but I've learned to like combat that weakness of mine by setting deadlines for myself, making calendars, making checklists. Every time I'm done with something, I mark it. So I feel like it's not just for like with regard to detail, like being very detail-oriented. You can use this in every walk of life, regardless of what you feel like this would apply to. This is a life lesson, and yeah, thank you.
I say like one of my weaknesses is being patient. As someone who's organized and getting a lot of like information from each team and what they do, I sometimes ask other people, when is your deadline? When are you gonna send me all the information so I can like put it out there for the rest of the other students? One that I've learned for myself, that being patient is also a virtue. You need to like realize that it's not about you, but other people as well in the organization. And whatever like you've done for yourself, like that's it. It's for yourself and not for the whole team, because you're putting pressure for yourself for being an organized person, but as well to take time and let other people to be sending information and then make their own time as well.
What does being a leader mean to you? What qualities do you possess to make you a good leader?
I would say being a leader to me is about helping the ones that needed the help the most, the ones who didn't, who shy away to people who are being introverted. I mean, I'm not saying that introvert is a bad thing, but to accept people around you as someone who is a shy person or introvert, and being in a group of people who are extroverted, I feel sometimes I've been left out. So being inclusive with the people around you helps build like team building as well as a team, because as a team, you all rely on each other and you become like family.
To me, being a leader is working collaboratively to like work towards a goal, you know. So, and like with what Alex said, I definitely agree that it's also being like inclusive with other people, because, you know, not everyone is like an extrovert or is willing to just go out there. So, you know, sometimes just giving someone a little nudge, you know, to help them start their journey on whatever they're doing. And also just like, working together with other people and, you know, trying to set goals. And some of the qualities I think I possess for that is that I'm quite an advocate for like awareness. Like, you know, I like to tell people about what is going on. So, and I think that's also a really good quality to possess to be a leader.
I think a leader is someone who leads by example, as opposed to being able to tell people what to do. And just by being yourself and showing other people that you can get involved, you could be kind to others and lead by example instead of, you know, the common misconception that being a leader is someone that's super, you know, powerful and.
I would say leadership is service. It's taking initiative, and to take initiative, you need to know what the students are thinking. You need to be speaking with the students. You need to be, like, the students in our case are the people that we are leading, or the people that are leading us. So it's not just that we're leaders, we also need to be led in order to lead. So aside from that, my other thoughts were that students in general, like we should learn to not just like be like, okay, this is SLC, this is my school. Like you shouldn't separate your classwork, your classroom, like the classroom setting from the SLC settings. Like you should have these conversations in the classroom, outside of the classroom every single day. And I feel like my visions like not my ideas, the vision I have for the SLC, that would be my strength as leader. And like I was speaking to the previous student trustee as well, and she was telling me that the board of trustees, they are inclined to take the student side if you feel strongly about something. So how would we feel strongly about something? We need to talk to the students. We need to know what you need. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Can you tell us about a role model you have and what characteristics of theirs you try to emulate? It's for anyone.
Would anyone like to start?
Well, for me, I think a role model I have is my mom. And I know majority of people might even say that, but like, you know, she's someone I see every day, and I just like appreciate everything she does. I really look up to her. She's like hardworking, and I feel like she's taught me so much, and I do strive to be like similar to her like every day. So that is like a role model.
I believe anyone and everyone can be a role model. I feel like I can learn something from every person that I meet from all walks of life. So even in a team, like when we're working as a team, everyone just complements each other. Someone has a strength, someone has a weakness. You learn from each other. So again, I would say everyone is my role model. From some people, I learned compassion, to be more compassionate. From others, I learned to be more organized, more focused. Thank you.
I would say my role model is my brother, and my younger brother is someone who makes me realize what are my weaknesses and what are my strengths. And to put it out there, he is someone that I always look proud upon, based on like how he encourages everyone to make people smile, to make people realize that it's not about how you put yourself out there, but it's all about how you love yourself and how you love everyone. And through his smile, it makes you feel warm, and also helps like me as a person to realize that whatever he has done, he always tells me, be patient, because whenever I observe you as a younger brother, you're always rushing through things. So, yes.
My role model would have to be my mentor teacher from senior year when I did student teaching. She just had such a powerful way of instructing the class without overtaking it, and she was able to listen to her students' ideas and let that influence how she taught the next day and the day after that. And she just had such a talent of working with others, so I really looked up to her because she was kind but also stern, and she was really good at making tough decisions, so I looked up to her a lot.
Have you ever had any experience with SLC in the past? And how will you ensure a smooth transition and adapt to the requirements of your role? And anyone can start.
As a person who was introduced to SLC a year ago, and someone who ran as an officer and is an officer right as of now, through SLC, I've realized so many things in like leadership, servant leader, and serving by example. Through so many conferences and projects in SLC, I've learned that many things happen within working together, and as much as having someone to rely on, like my mentors and advisors in SLC. So they also help me level up as a person to see like what's my potential in the future.
I've heard about SLC from like my sister, Uthman, Amna here, and I've heard like all great things. I love the like involvement. Like everyone who's part of SLC always has something positive to say about it, and I think it's like a great platform for like many students to just join and also like increase their like leadership skill, like just improve in any way they can. And it's a great club, I think. And so like one of the things I'd love to, if I am elected, is to just like get more students to be involved. Like not a lot of people even know about SLC. Like maybe even just we can go to like classrooms, just talk about it a little. I know like there's a lot of people who would love to join but just don't even know about it. So, and I think that's like, yeah, that's a great thing to do for that.
When I came down here to get the application for student trustee, I was a little nervous because I haven't had any prior experience with involvement in SLC, but they were so kind and open about it, and they just seemed like excited for me to join. So that's what made me really excited to be a part of SLC. And then I also did this new student orientation at the beginning of this year. And I remember I met so many positive leaders that just made me so excited to come to school, and they made me feel really welcome. So I've had a lot of positive experiences with the people.
What is the SLC? The SLC is the voice of the students. And I feel like the voice of the students isn't something that I would have to familiarize myself with by just speaking to the SLC members, although that is true. And I have had experiences where I've spoken to them. Like when I first started campaigning, I started speaking to them about like the fact that I'd like to campaign as the trustee. And I really like the atmosphere they have and the teamwork that they show. Like every project, everyone's working on it, everyone's doing an equal amount of work. Positions don't matter to them as much because everyone is part of the team. This is a team effort. So that is my take on SLC. And what I'd like to do for next year is that, again, as I've mentioned previously, I'd like to unite the student body. I'd like the SLC to be at the heart of that and to like make the SLC have like, or increase the SLC's like campus presence. That would be my goal for next year. Thank you.
What is a failure you've experienced, and how did you overcome and or learn from it?
I'll go first. So last semester, actually, my first semester at COD was a train wreck. I was just, it was just such a rough transition for me, and a lot of people experience that. Some people have an easy transition, but for me, it was hard to keep my grades up. I was not having a great time, and this semester, I've learned from my mistakes in the past. I've gotten more organized. I've met more friends. I'm getting more organized. So, yeah,
They already touched
that semester was a failure, but it's getting better, so.
Well, for me, I guess, like Julia, you said too, last semester was quite difficult in the sense that I guess, coming to like college, in high school, like it's not the same. Even though COD does do a great job of like accommodating new students, I know for me like deadlines were a big thing where it's like either I keep putting them off or I was even aware, like I wanted to join something but I wasn't aware of the deadlines, things like that. So as of right now, I'm just like learning from that, just trying to gain as much information as I can for whatever I'm doing, just so that I am on top of like time and just keeping everything in track. So something like that.
I would say my biggest failure is underestimating myself. Thinking about like how like all the negative thoughts I would have from high school, thinking that I would like do this without any guidance, I underestimated the power of like asking for advice, asking someone for help, and with that, I didn't realize that it made me feel like I'm hitting a wall every single time. So utilizing the stuff here at COD made me realize that it's more than underestimating yourself. It's actually how you like use the tools here in COD to utilize it for yourself.
I don't necessarily believe in failure. I believe every experience can be a learning experience. So I don't want to label any of my experiences as failures. So I can say that I've had experiences where I wish I could have performed better, or I have learned something from that the next time I did that, or like I worked at it a second time, I was able to do it better. For instance, last semester when I first tried getting approval for the blood drive, it was really difficult. They were saying, okay, you probably won't get the approval. I mean, it's been done in the past, but again, you don't know if you're going to get this approval, even though you've been working for months. So I was really discouraged. I was like, all right, what am I going to do? So what I did was I learned to be resourceful. So I spoke to our representative from the blood bank, and I was like, okay, what can we do about this? And I was just like all proactive. I was like, we got to do something. Let's work on this. And I feel like every time you feel like you're hitting a wall, that's what you should do. You should just be like, okay, what do we do? What's the agenda? Don't feel discouraged. Thank you.
Tell us about a past experience where you were able to go above and beyond to help someone in need.
Okay, I'll start off the question. I'd say to go above beyond to help someone in need was my brother again. Little fact, he has autism, so seeing him like all the time at home and seeing his struggles, I always think about what goes on inside his mind. I want to help him as much as possible, and looking at like other people as well who have like disabilities, it reminds me of my brother, and I want people who realize that people who have disabilities are also people too, and they're here with like a reason. They don't necessarily was born to like with a disability, but it have somehow developed some way or another. So as someone who wants to be inclusive, that's like one of my like main reasons why I want to be a president, is because I want people to feel inclusive, not leaving anyone behind.
For me, an experience would be when a new girl came to my high school, and she was like a foreigner. She was from Spain, and so she wasn't really good at English and stuff like that. So I just felt the need to just accommodate her, become her friend, do things with her just so that she becomes like more familiar with the school, so that she has like soft landing in a sense. And yeah, and I just love to do things like that, because for me, like, I always live by the saying, like, do for others what you want to be done to yourself. So, for me, like, going somewhere new, I'd love for someone to, like, kind of, like, help me out, tell me about what the place is like. So that's kind of what I love to do for others. And that's kind of why I also want this as to be a president, like, just help others, like, feel included and have a sense that, like, everyone here is everyone is here to help them, so.
When I was younger, me and my friends started our own little charity group, and we found this family that had a organization called Noah's Hope, and they lived right by us, so it was local. And so we just took the initiative to organize a local charity event for them, and we started doing this every year to help them out. And we grew very close to the family, and we were able to raise a lot of money for them. So.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the fire that happened at Willow Lake Apartments a month ago. So I had heard about it. I heard that there were a lot of poor families who were displaced, that the apartment wasn't going to give them any money to like reimburse them to have another place to stay, because they were basically kicked out of their homes because they had nowhere else to go. And they don't have family here, and they had pretty much nothing. So I was like, okay, let's get on this. Let's do something. So I spoke to the MSA. I was like, all right, let's get a fundraiser done. Let's do something for these people. And then like we organized everything, but then by the time we were actually done with getting the event planned, we found out that someone else already stepped up, and that was really impressive. I was really happy to see that it's not just us who's thinking, people are always thinking, people are always helping others. And that's just something to keep in mind as a leader, that people are always going to be people need people, and people are always going to be helping people. So that's what we should be doing as well. That's who we are as leaders if we regard ourselves to be as such. Thank you.
Okay. How will you ensure the voice of the students will be well represented?
So for student trustee, at least, I think it could be intimidating for a lot of people to be trying to, as a young college student, to be working with all these adults, all these professionals, and trying to get a voice in there. But for me, that's something that I'm comfortable with. I'm not afraid to communicate these ideas to all these professionals. So it's just something that I'm excited about if I were to get elected. And and that's the only reason I'm running, is so I could be the voice for students and to work with these adults. So, yeah.
I'd say communication. It's a continuous effort. We need to be with the students. We need to be having these conversations. We need to be in these student circles talking about like representation, talking about what they need addressed. So like, I believe that, again, events should translate from student needs. So we need to know what the students need. How would we do that? Again, we are students. We have access to the students. We have a unique perspective, a unique contribution that the Board of Trustees probably don't, well, they don't have because they're not students. So in my opinion, again, we could have events for this purpose. We could have rallies. We could have like demonstrations, unity walks, and other events of the sort. Thank you.
For me personally, I think getting students more involved is, I think, the best way to go about it, simply because if students are involved, that's how they'll voice their needs. If they don't even know about like SLC, for example, they would even know where to go to like talk to someone about what they want. Yes, we are students and we can go around like, talking, but we can't talk to everyone. So just like being a beacon for where people can like come to when they want something or, need something is a great place. And I know, for like example, in Honor Student Council, which is what I'm a part of here at COD, we're trying to like do an open house where we can like, show people that, oh, this is where we are, get students to be more involved and, just have an open house where they can come talk to us, ask questions about anything they want, which is something I think would be a great thing, just to get students to know about what is going on and so that they can, talk to us if they did need anything.
I think the best way to represent a student's voice is by reaching out to other organizations and student clubs here at COD, as well as other neighboring community colleges. And with that, because college students' voice is the peak of where everything changed, for example, like the Martin Luther King's, Martin Luther King's, I forgot that word. Where like people like outside were like trying to rally and having to represent like gun violence, like people who represent the college voice, because we are the next future of United States. As college students, we start everything by reaching out to, among others, college students to say, hey, we want to let you know this might happen. So thank you.
This is our last question, and then we'll go to closing statements. So how will you serve as a mediator between students and the administration when it comes to the controversial issues? And anyone can start.
So I believe what we should key in is to change. So first of all, we should try to figure out what changes can be made at present. And if there are changes that can't be made, let's work towards it. Eventually, we can probably get what we need or what we want. So again, as I mentioned previously, when I spoke to the previous student trustee, she told me that if the board isn't, like, if you're passionate about something, if you really feel strongly about it, the board is inclined to side with you. So again, like I mentioned this previously as well, but how do we get there? We need your help. We need the students' help. We need to know what you need. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
I think with controversial issues especially, it's important to be able to read people, especially the ones in the administration that are making those decisions. So when you're asking for a certain change of policy or just bringing up an idea, being able to read other people and how they view the position, then you can effectively kind of word and communicate the thoughts in a way that's respectful to everyone and effective. So
I definitely agree with what Julia is saying, in the sense that the way you communicate something, I feel like makes the greatest impact of whether it is changed or not. And also, just like, for example, there is a change that wants to be made, and is it like a practical change? Is it something that we can do now? Just finding a way to accommodate everyone, but still yet, make it as practical as possible and something that will be able to be worked towards. And like Julia said, be respectful with the administration, tell them what it is you want, but still also understand there are things, they're trying to understand you too, you know? So it's kind of like come to the middle where both of you can understand, but I just want it to be changed.
To be like the mediator for like between administrators and students, I think one good example is Teachers Matter that happened here at COD. When teachers are being like underpaid or not being paid at all, and they went to a rally, and as part of being SLC, us officers or people who are in SLC, we get information from the administrators telling their side of the story, and then there's the Board of Trustees telling their side of the story. And as a student or as someone who works with SLC, you tend to like find like information right between how like would you answer students' questions, how would you answer faculty, ask any questions at all. It all matters based on how you word through your communication with everyone. So with that, I think it depends on like how you would word their message and relying it to students.
All right, so now you're gonna get 3 minutes each to do your closing statements. And anyone who wants to start, go ahead.
So I think the main goal of the SLC is every year is to increase student involvement. So I want to make students more aware of their voice and give them more of a voice, whether that be creating more surveys or making them more aware of what the Board of Trustee is and what they do and how they can have an impact on it. And I also think that there's many reasons that students don't participate. A lot of students come here just to get their GEDs, and that's the only way they view COD. I had one of my friends, I told her to join Phi Theta Kappa, and she said, that's stupid, which I don't agree with. And then some students are just too scared. So I think one of my main goals would be to figure out ways to solve those problems for students that are here or students that are too scared or think it's stupid or have no idea what they're doing, figure out a way to help students plan out their futures so they have more of a motivation to join these clubs and inform them how that can help them with their future if they get involved now. And then also figure out a way to kind of end the stigma around joining clubs and figure out ways to make it more exciting and fun for the students, which I know is something we do every year, but every year it kind of changes of what appeals to students and young people. And also make clubs, hopefully bring in some more career-specific clubs. I want to be a physician's assistant, and there's a physician's assistant club that has helped me a lot. So I think that would also help a lot of students that don't know what club to join. So yeah, and overall I just want to be able to use my communication skills to communicate these ideas to the board. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here, the students for writing the questions, the officers for, you know, doing this all, and the crew also. Thank you so much. And yeah, like I said, I just want to, for me, this position is being able to, like, you know, include all the students, get people to understand how beneficial it really is to, like, you know, join clubs, be more involved in school. It's like really beneficial. You learn so much from it, and I don't think a lot of people don't realize that, especially this being a community college. They think I just need to come to class and go, but there's so much more to it. So yeah, this is something I'd love to be a part of. It'd be an honor to be a part of, you know, getting students to really understand how precious this is. Thank you.
Would you like to?
Okay, sure. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being advocates for yourself. So what I'd like to say to end my statement would be to, first of all, my main goal for next year, which I mentioned multiple times throughout this panel, and that is to unite the student body. And that would be through events, that would be through rallies, that would be through, yeah, unity walks. So aside from that, I also have relationships with like offices through my current club involvements, like as being president of the Future Physicians Club, vice president of the Society of Women Engineers, and officer of Care to Cure. I've learned to like communicate with these offices, to communicate with the administration, and try to figure out a way that meets both our needs and also is respectful of what they would like for us to do. aside from that, I've also learned that power is the ability to equip resources. So seeing as that the SLC does have power in that they are representative of the student body, they are on the committees, so I believe that. Aside from that, also, I believe in service. I've mentioned this multiple times again, and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, once again, thank you all for coming here. Also, everyone who asked questions, thank you to the candidates and for you guys to come here as well. And I believe that this conclusion, I want to make students feel that they're inclusive, but not many students feel that way here at COD as much as they hear about SLC. And since SLC is like the voice of students, I want them to know that through our voice, not just SLC, but through everyone here at College of DuPage, your voice matters. And you guys are what changed COD for the better and for the good. And I want to let other students know that here, like, don't be afraid to try new things, because a single step might change your life. And with that, saying that it changed my life, and as someone who's sitting here as the president candidate and imagining how much of like students like ask questions during this forum, it made me realize that there's so much things that LCC can do and so much things as students can do for us. And no matter how much like things are like a bit difficult or how things are easy on us, and building on that like with the team that we're gonna work with, it's a blessing that that everyone can be inclusive. And with LCC, it's like a family, and with that you're helping each other throughout the whole year, and with projects too. So I would say again, like, thank you everyone who asked questions and your time for being in this whole forum. Yeah.
Thank you, candidates. The election days are on Wednesday, March 11th and Thursday, March 12th. Check your email or go to chaplife.cod.edu to vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
The student elections are important because we are seating students on the Student Leadership Council and on the Board of Trustees. And the motto of the Student Leadership Council is Voice of the Students, and that is really the primary purpose of these elections.
Being as a SLC officer, I want to take the next step to be the SLC's president, and using my skills and experiences and knowledges that I've been with SLC to take that to the next level.
I've been a student here for 2 years. Next year will be my 3rd year, so I know what the students are saying. I've been in these conversations. I've been an active participant in them. I've asked questions. I've answered questions. So I know what the students want.
A skill I will take with me for this, to be president, just try to get everyone to be involved, because I feel like if everyone is involved, that's how we can get everyone's voice.
I'm never really afraid to talk to people and state my opinion. I take initiative when needed in a respectful manner, and I'm a motivated person, so I think I would be a good fit and get the job done.
The elections themselves will be on Wednesday and Thursday. We have online elections, so their ballot will be at Chap Life. Results are posted online on Friday.